Okay then, welcome everybody to the UK Skype under control. And here I am with Peter and Gwen, and Pierce is here too. And so, a very warm welcome to you all, wherever you may hail from. And I shall begin by passing the mic over to Peter.
Hello everybody, nice to be speaking to you again. Got two dreams to talk about this time. One in particular was an incredible dream, absolutely amazing, and I think it's the best dream I can ever remember having. It was about a week or two ago. It started off fairly sort of tamely. I seemed to be in some sort of basement area, quite a big basement area, with numerous other people flitting backwards and forwards. And we seemed to be hiding from somebody. We were sort of down in a dark, dingy place. And there were steps sort of going up to sort of doorways and windows, and we kept sort of going up and peeping out the windows, and we seemed to be expecting some kind of an attack or visit, at the very least, by some other group that we were sort of anticipating apprehensively. This went on for some time, and then I came across this big trap door which opened out into the sunshine, and I followed a couple of other people up through it. It was basically a big sort of trap door that opened outwards and upwards, and seemed to be made. It wasn't sort of solid. It was sort of made like crossed wires, but rather resembled a rather sort of tatty sort of bedspread almost. But anyway, it opened up and we went out into the sunshine. But then the scene seemed to change, and suddenly things started to get a lot more vivid, and I seemed to be somewhat in control of the dream. I think this is what we call a lucid dream. I don't remember ever having one before, but on this occasion I seemed to be sort of directing the dream myself and where I was sort of going and what I was doing. And then it changed for the second time, and this time I was up in the air flying, and it was an incredible flying dream. I never had one like it. It was so vivid and so I just felt so free and happy. It was unbelievable. I was flying all over the place, rocket speed, just ducking and diving and going up and down here, there and everywhere, and over this town. And it was at night. This was the funny thing about it. It seemed to be at night, and there was, although there were street lights down below, and I sort of dived down, and there was lots of people milling about. It looks like it's probably a Saturday evening or something, but nobody seemed to notice me, and I went up again. Then at one point I dropped down into the street. I saw this little old lady walking along, and I don't know, something inside me suggested it would be fun to drop down behind me and sort of push her back. I don't know what made me do that, but she didn't even seem to notice me, and there seemed to be no sort of a contact at all, which was seemed a bit odd. But anyway, I suspect that we were on a different plane of existence. I don't know. Sorry, I don't forget our dog's barking. We're getting a bit of a problem here at the moment. But anyway, I flew back up again, and then the next thing that I was aware of was actually Duane's voice, and I seemed to be inside a long corridor in a building. And right at the end of it, there was this open door with Duane standing there with two or three others behind him. I couldn't see their faces. I felt they were possibly guides, but I couldn't be certain. And I sort of dropped down in front of Duane, and then he said something to me, which I couldn't catch in the dream. But it was very friendly and sort of as I imagined it would be. And then I just sort of flew off again, and I was flying about again, happy as a boy sort of thing. And next thing I knew, I was hovering over this road, and Kevin joined me, also in the air, and he said to me something to the effect of, "Oh, there's a railway station over there, and it's something very interesting we ought to go and have a look at." And so we started flying over towards it. And then that was really the end of the thing. But the whole feeling was so exhilarating and so incredible. never had a dream like it, and I really felt when I woke up, I was sort of dissecting it in my mind, that I'd actually been over to the real side, because that's what the impression I got. And it was so different to any other dream I've ever had, so clear and so, well, just hard to put into words. It was just absolutely fantastic. And just 2 or 3 points of interest what I thought about it afterwards was the fact that if it was on the other side, or the real side, or whatever you want to call it, I was a bit surprised it was dark and at night, because I would always imagine the astral plane, or at least the higher levels of the astral plane, would be sort of bright and sunny, but it was dark and at night. But it was still very pleasant and very enjoyable. And the bit about the old lady, I mean, I don't know what that was all about, but it did suggest that we were on different planes of existence, because we didn't actually sort of make contact even while I tried to push her back. And the other thing was the reference to the railway station that Kevin made suggested travel. Maybe that was indicative of perhaps looking at higher levels, I don't know. Anyway, sorry I've been waffling on a bit, but perhaps Duane would like to give his take on all this, please.
Yes, hello, Peter. Good for you. Yes, so again, it's as we've discussed, as you've shared in previous episodes here, you go through a lot of personal things, but that's going to happen your whole life, and even more so because the personal area is huge. Most people only see their surface world; they don't really see what else is going on, etc. But the experience basically starts off with a demonstration. You're in a basement, this is the earth, okay? This is the bottom of life. And you're moving up, and then you open the door, and you get, there's some sunshine there. So again, and the sun, again, is a reference for the isness. So you have that experience. And then you start to fly. It's an exhilarating dream. You're given this experience, okay, to show you certain things, etc. I've known many people that go through this too. So at certain points, you're given certain things. It's almost kind of like your parents. At a certain time of year, it's your birthday, okay? So you're given certain gifts. You go to school, you do all the funny things, and all of a sudden, you have a birthday party, and maybe you go to Disneyland and go on all the rides. And so this is good. It gives you a view, yes, of the real side of things. You get a view, and as you're flying, that shows you're above things. And for the most part, yes, have many experiences like this in the past. And when you're up there, for the most part, people don't see you or recognize you, because again, life is about awareness, and they just don't see it. Okay, they just don't see you even when you come close or whatever, etc. So you're given a little free rein there to move around, etc. And so you're also given certain opportunities. So again, this is where, there's thing about this, it's basically like astral projection in a way. And that is that this is a step that people do. It's not recommended to project the bodies, because it's about awareness. But I'm not saying this is astral projection, but they're giving you this experience to show you something, okay, to give you that. And, it may be the only experience of your whole life or whatever. I don't know. It just depends upon, as people have these experiences, you still have your personal life. And so there's opportunities there. So I'm there with the boys, etc. The idea is that there's more to this. There's so much more that people don't see. People look at the books and the courses and what we're presenting. They don't really see what this is at all. That's so minuscule, and their attitudes keep them from it, and they won't see it. So you're getting a glimpse of something so awesome, but it's a glimpse, but there's a whole lot more to it, because it's about awareness. But we need these experiences to kind of break away at times from the personal self, because yes, it is very invigorating. It's all those things, and as you come back to this personal self, but your real awareness is even better than that. But again, this experience is very good. You need this experience because you've come through to a certain point. So again, you see the demonstration in the beginning is very important. And yes, because it's night, yes, you're still in creation. Creation is darkness. Even though we have the sky and the sun and whatever, it's all darkness. All of creation is darkness, even the heavens of man, etc. Oh, they're brilliant. They've got lights and whatever, but it's the reflective light. And so that's the whole idea. And creation can be simplified into one little spot, because it doesn't matter how big it is or little or whatever. It's just that you're in creation, but you have this experience to show you something more. Now, you decide the railroad station at the very end, yes, there's Kevin. And that is that it's kind of like, okay, from here, you're going to take the trip. Okay, you're going to get on the train. And it kind of ends from there simply because you make the choice how far you're going to go. So, many people, they do this astral projection, remote viewing, and all these things. And it's a very valid experience. But most of the time, they stop there because they're just after the thrill. The bigger part of life is awareness with the is, and that's huge. And so, but no, this is a great experience, and you hold that, you have that experience for yourself, and you decide to, take the next steps to actually, you might say, magnify that experience, because there's always more. Yes, go ahead, Kim. Go ahead, Peter.
Right, okay, yeah, thanks for that. It really was an incredible experience, and something I should never forget. The other dream was recently, as last night, actually, or the early hours of this morning, I was supposed to be more accurate. And this took place on what appeared to be a car racing track, something I've never actually visited in my life, but seen on the TV, of course. Now, this track, it had all lanes sort of painted with yellow paint, sort of parallel lines running along the length of all the bits I could see of it from left to right. But right in front of me, there was a section of it that sort of went over to one side, like a car park in effect. It wasn't really like the pits that you see on the TV racetracks and things, with all the people milling about with all the tyres and the rest of it. It was just it's more like a car park off to the side, but it also had these yellow lines. Complete yellow lines. They weren't like car park bays or anything. And these yellow lines sort of came out and curved around and joined the main lines on the main track itself. Now, I was sort of standing there looking at this, and the next thing I knew, I don't know, I think I was an adult at that point, but suddenly I was a small boy, in his bedroom. And I was trying to reproduce these lines with yellow paint on my bed, which seemed a strange thing to do. And I was well aware that when my mum came home, I was going to get an earful at the very, very least. But I still wanted to paint these things on the bed. I don't know why. And then I don't know who the mother was in that dream. It wasn't certainly my real mother, but I was imagining. But anyway, then the scene changed back again to what you might call the real. Not real with a capital R, but the real track, as opposed to the painted one on the bed. And I was standing looking at this, and I was aware to the left there was this enormous TV screen, or a monitor, great big flat screen, but it's all blacked out. And I found some controls at the bottom of it, and I was fiddling about them, trying to get a picture on it, and all I could get was a fuzzy sort of mess. I couldn't get a picture. And then for some reason I was suddenly aware of a woman standing near to me who appeared to be pregnant. I don't know what that was about. And that was that. Then it sort of finished, and that was it really. But so I don't know what that was all about at all. I can't get anything out of that. But I don't know if perhaps Duane may be able to help.
Okay, another challenge. Yes. Did you ever see the movie, The Close Encounters of the Third Kind? With what's his name? I forget what's his name. Jeez, I forget. Did you ever see that movie? It was a Spielberg movie.
Yeah, I've seen the film. I can't remember his name either, but I did see the film. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fellow that played in The Star, he also played in Jaws and many others. Richard Dreyfuss. Yeah, Richard Dreyfuss. In the movie, all of a sudden, he starts doing funny things, like all of a sudden he starts going out into his yard and starts, if I remember right, wheelbarrows or buckets, and then he builds this giant of mud in his living room. And then as the scenes go by, he sees this on TV. There's this happening. He sees this certain mountain somewhere. And then even at the last scene with his family, he's at the dinner table and he's building this little mound with his mashed potatoes, trying to resemble this mountain that, he doesn't understand what he's doing. And so I kind of see it like that. In other words, that's what I'm getting. And so again, and the racetrack, yes, see, again, it's kind of like, do you want to get in the race? So you go back to your childhood. All of a sudden you pop back to your childhood and you're painting these lines on your bed, but you see, you don't know why. Because the real part of you is bringing something through, but the little self doesn't always understand it. And so these are hints to you as you look at the experience, all right? See, you're always the decider. These are hints to you, okay, as to what's going on. And what is that? A racetrack, okay? So, yeah, and to be a race car driver, that's a real risk taker, isn't it? It's a position to start from. As an example, it's giving you an example. So there's something within you, etc., that prompts this. Also, the woman that's pregnant, and that's very interesting too. So what does that imply? It gives you a hint to a new birth, doesn't it? But it's all about choice, isn't it? Yes. So every step of the way, every moment, you make the choice. It's not about attitudes or what you think personally. No, it has nothing to do with the whole of life. But choice does, and what you decide to see and risk to see. Yeah. So kind of like along those lines. And I'm sure that Kevin will help you a little bit. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that.